Hey everybody, Austin back again with another long play video. Today, as you can see, it's going to be Double Dragon for the NES. Now, Double Dragon's actually been one of those games I've been meaning to long play for a very long time now. Ever since I've been wanting to do long plays since about 2010 or so. And it was actually one of the earliest I actually attempted to do, but I wasn't successful at it enough, or at least not enough to my liking, to actually upload it. In this Let's Play though, or long play, I don't know why I just said let's play, I'm so used to doing let's plays, I actually beat this game without continuing. And that's the only way you can beat the game, because there are no continues in Double Dragon for the NES. It's one and done. If you lose your lives, you're done. There's no continuing. But when I originally tried doing long plays of this game, back in the day, so to say, it's been a few years now, I wouldn't be able to do it. I'd get to, say, the 4th level and then get destroyed by either the final boss rush or the blocks that just come out of the wall, and you guys will see what I mean once I get to that point. And yeah, I just was not satisfied with my run, so I never uploaded a long play of this game. But a few weeks back, I was recording a lot of gameplay footage, and you know, I managed to actually get through this game without too much of a problem. So actually, in this specific run, I'll go ahead and give you a spoiler alert, but it literally comes down to my very last health pellet, and I managed to beat this game without, well, I managed to beat the game, but it was very sort of like by the skin of my teeth, but yeah, I did it. So one thing I wanted to mention is that when I do this long play, basically I'm going to also be trying to show off some of the glitches I knew from when I was a kid, and that was one of them right there. You can actually throw the barrel up and off the screen for some reason. But what's interesting about this is that enemy went up the screen with the barrel, and I had actually never seen that before, so I'm glad I got that on video. That was really cool. But there's actually a couple glitches in the game, so to say, and there's also some, I don't know if I'm going to really call them glitches, but sort of, well, let's just call them glitches that you could take advantage of to, say, just push enemies off the screen completely, and I'll explain more on that later. But the next sort of glitch is these 2 rails on the side of the screen, and you can actually go and just sort of fly up those rails, and it's kind of interesting, so you'll see that in just a moment as well. Just right here. And if you press left or right, you automatically go back to the bottom. And if you try to jump, your character will actually fall off. And it's kind of interesting. Now, one of the things about Double Dragon on the NES is that you sort of get experience points, and those are denoted in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen beneath the 1-player signal. And so the second heart actually gives you your uppercut and your roundhouse kick, basically your finishing moves, or your combo ending moves. So normally, in the beginning of the game, if you just keep punching, your character will just literally just keep punching and the enemies will fall down. But with the second heart given, after you've leveled up the first time, you'll either do a roundhouse like I just did there, or if I'm punching, he'll actually give a nice big uppercut. You know, the ender moves, they definitely do a little more damage. So, yeah. The third heart in the bottom of the screen will actually give you your jump kick. If you jump right now, you actually don't attack when you jump. But once you get that third heart, it'll be that also useful jump kick, which is definitely one of the most useful maneuvers in the game. Next to the 4th heart, I want to say it's the 4th heart. I think it's the 4th heart. That allows you to actually grab enemies' heads and give them some knee butts to the head, and then you can actually throw them in the opposite direction as well. Now, which is really useful because you can actually throw enemies off ledges if you want to just get the enemies off the screen as quickly as you can. And when I was playing this game, and I don't normally play it this way, is I purposely tried to pick up as many weapons as I could to make my life easier. And, you know, I would purposely just try to get enemies off the screen as fast as I could. And normally when I play this game, I try to attack with just my hands only. Hands or feet. usually my hands, just my fists, because you actually get more points for just punching enemies than you do kicking enemies. Punching enemies is more risky though. So yeah. But yeah, I definitely wanted to show you guys everything I could in the game. So I'm using like the whip, I'm using the bat and things like that. And the whip is very, very powerful. It's just crazy how powerful it is. And it's great. But here's going to be another glitch in the game I'm going to show off. The boss, so to say, is going to appear. And he actually can't go down ladders. And so what can happen is you can just go back down the ladders and push him off the screen. And once you push him off the screen, the game registers him as being killed, and you basically beat the level. So here we go, we're just going down. Now this is one of those things I really just enjoy about the game, is you don't have to do this, but it's just funny that it even exists to begin with. And so, you know, if you're having a hard time with the game, that can be a way to sort of force yourself farther on into the game. And here's the knife, which is the most powerful weapon in the game, aside from the dynamite. And a lot of times you can kill enemies in one hit with it, with a good hit. Jumping in at the enemy with the jump kick, they'll throw it, and chances are you'll override the knife and drop it to the ground. Just like the arcade version. I don't know if that happened in the arcade version or not. I usually just try to dodge the knife in the arcade version. In the arcade version, if you actually kick an enemy or punch them or knock them down and they have the knife in their hand, the knife will actually fly back up and land on the ground so you can go pick it up. And that's how you usually acquire the knife in the arcade version. But yeah, heart number 4 apparently allows me to knee enemies in the head. And so, you know, in order to do that, all you really have to do is just kick at enemies, and usually your character just grabs the enemy automatically. And it's a really, really great maneuver. You can kill enemies really fast with it. And, yeah. So you're going to be seeing me do a lot of that for the rest of the game. The 5th heart, I want to say, is the one that allows you to get on top of an enemy and just smack him to the face a bunch of times. Which is pretty cool, but it's not as useful as just, you know, giving them some knees to the head and then being able to throw them back. So I've arguably already gotten the most useful sort of, you know, ability traits in the game. So the rest that you get are just more or less just for fun. And, you know, you do get the elbow from the arcade game, which is absurdly powerful in this game. But it's risky to do, because what happens is a lot of times the enemies will actually hit you at the same time you hit them. So it's like, yeah, you're doing a lot of damage to them, but you're also taking damage. And you can die pretty quickly in this game later on in the game. So, you know, I try to stay away from doing the elbow too often. There's the final maneuver you get is the hurricane kick, or the whirlwind kick, or whatever you want to call it. In later games, in Double Dragon 2, you literally just jump into the air and you do a bunch of like spinning kicks in the air. It's a special attack in those games, or in that game. And same with Double Dragon 3 in the NES. But in this one, the move is just, it's another ender to your combo. Your character jumps up, does a quick spin roundhouse kick in the air, and you know, it deals a lot of damage for sure, but it's not the most reliable attack. So I almost don't even know why they left it as the final ability you got. But regardless, I'm just digressing now. So, stage 3 is actually rather interesting compared to the other stages in the game. Is the level will actually continuously loop if you don't actually go into your entrances, or the proper entrances. And by proper entrances, I mean these caves right here that these abobos bust out from. Is after you destroy them, you have to actually press up on them to go through them. And it's actually not that obvious that you're supposed to do that. At least if you've never played this game before, it won't be that obvious. You'll just keep scrolling to the right because that's what you've done for the entire game. But in actuality, you're supposed to go into this cave. And this cave operates in the exact same manner as the outside did. It'll keep looping around if you actually don't go up through the proper door. So if you're playing this game for the first time, make sure that you're going up through all your doors. And yeah. This isn't a very long section. You just have to get through this platforming area, defeat a few more enemies, and go through another door. So you can actually progress through this game pretty quickly still. I'm sorry, this stage still. But definitely be aware that you have to go through these doors. So here's my next door right here. And there's going to be some more. I want to say they're called Chin. I think that's their name. You can actually go to the 2-player B mode, and it's actually just like a versus mode in the game. And you can actually play as all the enemies in the game. And one of them is this guy, and they call him Chin in the versus mode, so I suppose that's his name. And I want to say after beating this game, I do show off the 2-player section, just to show you what it's like. I think I do a quick round of that. So, go up through the door. What's nice about going through these doors, though, is you do replenish all of your health. So, and what you can do is, one trick I used to use is, if I got damaged too badly here, I would just go back up through the cave. It'll take me back to the opposite cave, and but it'll refill my entire health bar. So, and I can just do this part over again. The enemies will reappear, your timer will reset, and yeah, so that's a good trick to know. But I don't think I do that in this playthrough. And that right there is exactly why I really use that knee butt as much as I can. It's so powerful. You can literally just kill enemies in one string of attacks. Watch out for these boulders. And watch out for the fire. Don't fall into the fire. Although it can be kind of easy to sometimes because of how Double Dragon registers falling off edges. And it can be very, very dangerous when you get near edges in this game. So this is kind of a little bit of a tough little battle here, because normally when you fight Abobos in this game, you can walk up and down on the screen, but on this section it's strictly side-scrolling. There's no moving up and down, so you can't just sort of position yourself up above them slightly and they just walk into your attacks. You actually have to hope that your attacks connect before theirs do to you. And these guys can definitely kill you pretty quickly as well, so be careful. Sometimes what I do is actually I just use my elbow here because it deals so much damage. And once I go through this door, I get all my health back. But what I find is the kick actually seems to connect rather reliably sometimes. And as you can see, what I do occasionally is, rather than kicking 2 or 3 times in a row, which can actually leave a gap and a gap for them to override my string and hit me, is I'll do a kick and then I'll jump kick immediately after that, which will pretty much, you know, erase them being able to attack me out of it and break my string. So now, in this section, enemies constantly spawn out of these caves, and what I like to do is actually just sit by the first cave and just destroy all of them, and then they will not spawn through any other cave in this section. There's actually a bunch of little caves throughout the whole screen, and they'll keep respawning through each and every cave that you get to, unless you destroy all the enemies. They don't infinitely respawn. There's only like 7 or 8 enemies that pop out, so... And so that's what I like to do in order to get through this part a little bit easier. And there's the falling animation. Clunk. Good times, good times. So now we're pretty much on to mission 4, which is the final mission in the game. And if you guys are familiar with the arcade version of this, as you can see, they actually took some liberties with doing this conversion. Except for this part, unfortunately. Which still exists, and it's still a pain in the ass. And I have no idea how I got through this without dying completely. I don't know if there's any rhythm or rhyme to those blocks, and that is the most frustrating part in the entire game. Not exactly a very good design choice, but especially in a game where you get no continues. Like, the arcade version's one thing, because you can just put another quarter in and keep playing. But in this one, you don't have that luxury, so... I've never been a fan of that block section. It's just, yeah. If you're really good at this game and you know a way to get through that without dying or getting hit, like, and actually like control the flow of it, like always get through it without getting hit, let me know how you do that, because that's been one of my It's been one of life's greatest mysteries to me, is getting through that section in Double Dragon without getting hit. To me, it's always seemed like an impossibility, so if it is a possibility, though, I'd love to know exactly how to do it so I can duplicate it, replicate it. So things were actually, the pressure was on here because I only have 2 hit points left, and, you know, I need all the lives I can get, or, yeah, for the last stretch in the game. And so what I like to do on these guys is just keep kicking them, and hope that they don't jump kick at me before I kick them. And because kicking them pretty much always leads to the headbutt move. Not the headbutt move, the knee butt move. And much like the previous, or I'm sorry, the last screen of Mission 3, enemies will constantly respawn out of here. However, on this one, I want to say that they don't disappear. They don't stop respawning on this section. I could be wrong, but one trick you can do is actually, if an enemy is out, you can just leave them there. And as long as at least one is on the screen, they won't keep respawning until they're pushed off the screen. So that is one trick you can use on this section. And I also took a bit of a shortcut there in terms of progressing. Normally, you would want to, you know, go up the ladder, or go across the platform, blah, blah, blah. But I just took a jump, sort of a leap of faith on that bottom area. And got through the section a little bit quicker than you're probably supposed to be able to, so. Alright, now we're on the actual final stretch of the game already. Double Dragon is not a very long game. As you can see, it's only been about 17 minutes, and we're already towards the end of the game. I actually do die a couple times here. I get down to my very last life, and then as I mentioned, I'm pretty sure I get down to my very last life pellet before actually defeating the final boss. So, now when I was doing this long play video, there's a boss who is the actual final boss in the arcade game, and he's this guy that totes a machine gun, and he can kill you very, very quickly. And I thought he was the final boss in this game as well. But no, apparently you have to fight someone who looks just like you. I'm going to assume it's your brother, I'm not sure. Yeah, he takes a lot more damage than other enemies do in the game, so it was very stressful once I got to him and saw him come out, and but I came out on top, fortunately, so. But as you can see, I have 2 lives now, and but that's not going to last very long once I get to the actual final boss, so. This last stretch will get a little repetitive. You'll see me doing the same thing pretty much 3 times, I think, until I finally beat the final boss properly, and then get to the actual final boss, the very final fight in the game. One trick you can do is just sit at the door and then just use your elbow as the enemies come out to get a good free hit. But it's probably not wise with the machine gun guy, because he'll probably just come out and just machine gun you and kill you really fast. Now the trick to him is really just using your kick, because you can actually grab him, grab his head, and put your knees to his head, just like most other enemies in the game. So that's a way of just definitely taking him out very quickly. But you kind of need him in the center of the screen, otherwise he's going to machine gun you just like that. Like I said, he does damage very, very quickly, so. And of course, when they restart you, you have to kill all the enemies again and go through it again. See, there's the elbow. I just took down the elbow in about 4 or 5 hits. So that's how powerful the elbow is in this game. That's 2, 3. Wow, 4 hits. Yeah, that's crazy. I always liked how they used the title screen theme as the final stretch theme in the game. It's a great video game theme. Probably one of the best from the Nintendo Entertainment System's time period. Really a great track, and it was cool that they have it here at the end of the game. Sort of gets you pumped. You're like, yeah, this is sort of like the climax of the game, you know? So high energy music for high energy segments is always a good thing in my book. So never been a fan of getting to a section in the game, say like the final stretch, and there just being like boring plotting music. It's like, come on guys, get me pumped. You know, this is supposed to be exciting, damn it. There was the whirlwind kick, or whatever you want to call it. Not always the most reliable move either. A lot of times the enemies will duck the attack, much like them ducking your jump kicks. So, and it really makes me wonder why they had it as the last move to give you, you know. Alright, so I think, I want to say I die at this part. I could be wrong. I don't know if it's this one I die at, or, we'll find out. And they can duck your elbows too. Which is another reason why I don't use elbows that much in this game. Because enemies can duck them, and they'll keep ducking them just like that. And you'll get punished for it. But when all else fails, just kick. The kick is arguably the best weapon in the game, or the best move you have in your arsenal, so... But I'm trying to just do a lot of damage to him to kill him as quickly as I can. But, he actually takes a lot of damage, way more damage than any other enemy does in the game, so even though I elbow him a bunch of times, he takes forever to kill. I mean, I think his life bar is even bigger than yours is. It's that crazy. Bad idea. So there you go, I'm finishing it with a jump kick, which is kind of a good way to finish it sometimes, because even if you activate your last roundhouse kick, again, like I said, enemies can duck it, and they can also duck your normal roundhouse kick finisher. Oh, and look at that. I still had one life left, but yeah, beat him literally by the skin of my teeth. And I think that's it. Straight back to the title screen. Yep. Awesome ending, guys. Thanks. That was typical of a lot of NES games back in the day, though, is you would go through all this trouble to beat the game, and then you would just get sent right back to the title screen. In some cases, like Double Dragon, not even a thank you or thanks for playing or anything like that. So there you guys have it, Double Dragon for the NES in its entirety. I hope you guys enjoyed that run. That was probably the best run of that game I've ever had, to be honest with you, because I can't remember the last time I actually beat the game. I mean, it's been a while, many years. I mean, like I said, I tried long playing this game back in 2010 or 2011, and it just was not happening. I couldn't get past that last stretch. But yeah, managed to do it in this video, fortunately, so I could finally mark this one off the list. So here's the two-player section of the game. Now, the arcade version of Double Dragon, you could do two players at the same time in the main mode. Same with Double Dragon 2 on the NES. Unfortunately, Double Dragon 1 for the NES, there was no two-player simultaneous action, unfortunately. I'm going to assume they probably cut it out due to more or less technical constraints. It was an earlier NES game than, say, Double Dragon 2 or Double Dragon 3. And as you probably noticed throughout the playthrough, there's actually a decent amount of flicker here and there. And I would imagine if you had a second actual controllable character on the screen, that flicker would have been even worse. So that's my guess as to why there's no actual two-player simultaneous gameplay in the single-player campaign. But yeah, there is this versus mode, which could be mildly entertaining. It's all you really do is you punch and you kick and you jump kick. Tapping forward twice allows you to run, and then when you run, you can either jump kick or you can do a at least with these characters, you can do a quick, fist attack, which knocks the character down in one swoop. Each character you could pick from, they have slight variations. For instance, I want to say the Linda characters, when they run, they actually will do like a quick knee and knock the character down, etc., etc. The Abobos are pretty much like they are in the regular game. They just they're very fast with their punches and so forth. So, like I said, it's a mildly entertaining mode. It's kind of a novelty, and yeah. So as you can see, you've got Will, Roper, Linda, Chin, and Abobo, and of course Billy. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll be back with some more videos sometime soon. If you're new to my channel, feel free to subscribe. I've got tons of Let's Plays, and I got tons of long plays, and I got several reviews and so forth on my channel as well. You guys can go back and check out. But definitely subscribe to keep in touch with what I do. And yeah, I'll be back with another video sometime soon. So until then, guys, take care.